Adi, I was reading about the early chocolate industry and I came across this letter, some guy named James French, basically begging for a job as a mixer. But then it got wild. Apparently, chocolate companies were literally buying each other's secret recipes. Was that normal?
Oh, you have no idea. The chocolate wars of the 1800s were like corporate espionage with a sprinkle of cocoa powder. Let me take you to London, 1872. Imagine Joseph Rowntree, a Quaker businessman, traveling from York to London, not just to hire workers, but to quietly scoop up his rivals' trade secrets. And he wasn't alone. This was how the chocolate business worked if you wanted to survive.
Wait, so Roundtree was just paying people for recipes? That sounds shady, especially for a Quaker.
Exactly. That's what makes it so fascinating. Rowntree's public image was all about honesty and virtue. But in private, he was offering presents and bonuses to men like James French, who, by the way, got his train fare paid, a weekly wage, and a £5 bonus just for sharing Taylor's recipes.
£5 just for a recipe? That must have been a fortune back then.
It was a serious sum. It was a serious sum, and it didn't stop there. French introduced Rowntree to other workers, like Robert Pierce, who claimed he made all of Taylor's chocolate. Pierce got £2 a week for a holiday in York, where his real job was spilling every secret he knew.
That's wild. So, these workers were just selling out their old bosses?
Pretty much. Some got a few shillings for a single recipe, others got lump sums for everything they knew. Rowntree even learned the exact temperature for mixing cocoa as hot as the hand can comfortably bear. He found out who built the special mills, what order to add ingredients, even the ratios of different beans.
So, he was basically building a chocolate empire out of everyone else's hard work?
You could say that. And it wasn't just Taylor's secrets. Rowntree put ads in the paper looking for men who knew how to make soluble cocoa. He paid Henry Richard Thompson, a guy with 30 years at another firm, to come to York and teach him everything for a nice fee and travel expenses.
This sounds exactly like what happens in tech today. Companies poaching engineers for their know-how. Is that a fair comparison?
Absolutely. Think about how Silicon Valley works now. Companies lure away talent, hoping they'll bring inside knowledge or even code. There are lawsuits over trade secrets all the time. Back then, it was recipes and machinery. Now it's algorithms and patents. But the game hasn't changed much.
But wasn't Rowntree supposed to be above all that? Didn't Quakers have strict ethical rules?
That's the twist. Quakers like Rowntree and the Cadburys were famous for their principles: honesty, plain dealing, no advertising. Yet, here's Rowntree, quietly bribing workers and gathering secrets. If he felt guilty, he didn't write it down. In fact, while he was doing all this, he was also writing to his rivals, Fry and Cadbury, suggesting they team up to survive foreign competition.
So, he was both stealing secrets and trying to make peace with his competitors? That's complicated.
It really is. It shows how tough the business was. Even people with strong values bend the rules when survival was on the line. And it's not so different from today companies talk about ethics. But when the market gets tough, lines get blurry.
Did any of the workers ever get in trouble for sharing secrets? Or was it just accepted?
It was a grey area. There weren't strict laws about trade secrets like we have now. Most companies just tried to keep their processes hidden, but if someone left and spilled the beans, it was hard to stop. The real risk was getting blacklisted in the industry, but the money was tempting.
And what about the Cadburys? Did they do the same thing?
They were a bit more reserved, but they definitely kept an eye on the competition. Meanwhile, their own fortunes were turning around. Orders for their cocoa essence started pouring in, and for the first time, the factory was making a profit. That changed everything, not just for business, but for their personal lives too.
How so?
Well, with some financial breathing room, Richard Cadbury fell in love, bought a house, and got married. Even George Cadbury, who'd been all work and no play, started to open up. Success gave them space to have lives outside the factory.
So all this secret swapping and competition actually shaped the companies we know today?
Exactly. The chocolate giants, Cadbury, Rowntree, Fry, they all grew by learning from each other, sometimes in ways that weren't exactly above board. It's a reminder that even the most ethical brands have messy histories.
And we're still dealing with this, right? Companies today talk about values, but there's always that tension between doing what's right and doing what it takes to win.
That's the lesson. Whether it's chocolate in the 1800s or tech in the 2020s, the pressure to survive and grow can push even the most principled people to bend the rules. Knowing that helps us ask better questions about the brands we trust now.
I never thought the chocolate business was so cutthroat, or that it connects so much to how companies act today. Makes you wonder what's really behind the brands we love.
Exactly. Every sweet success has a story, and sometimes it's a little bitter. History doesn't repeat, but it sure rhymes. And if we pay attention, we can spot those patterns and maybe make better choices ourselves.
That's it for today's episode on Fun Learn Talks, where stories from business, technology, and history keep your curiosity alive. If you enjoyed the journey, make sure to follow, rate, or share it with a fellow curious mind. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or connect with us online. I'm Anu, and I'll catch you next time, right here on Fun Learn Talks. Until then, keep learning, keep wondering.